Right now, Columbia police confirming that this teenage girl right behind me here named Niyah Baker was murdered. The details are gruesome. And we understand that earlier today, investigators, they shared her identity.
Welcome back to Park Jones. So today we are discussing a heartbreaking story coming out of Columbia, South Carolina. On January 15th, 13-year-old Niyah Baker was found deceased in a house fire that took place in a vacant home. I'm going to bring it back for you a bit because you all need the context. So 2 days prior to her body being found, Niyah was reported missing from her home in Hopkins, South Carolina. The story is still developing, but it sounds like this may have been a foster home. And through some more research, I found that Niyah was a habitual runaway. And no judgment, but again, context is important. So in 2024, she ran away at least 3 times. We have police announcements on July 3rd, August 8th, and November 4th. It's unclear how long she would typically go missing for, but when she went missing on July 3rd, it sounds like she may have been found that same day. And the reason this stands out to me is because when she was reported missing in January of this year, it was said that she was believed to be in danger. But the previous announcements never used this same language. So clearly something was different this time. Now, on January 15th, firefighters responded to a blaze at a vacant home in Columbia. Upon extinguishing the fire, they discovered Niyah's body inside. The Richland County Coroner's Office confirmed her identity and ruled her death a homicide, citing blunt force trauma as the cause.
Identifying a minor can be difficult. They don't have a DMV profile. They usually don't have fingerprints on file. And so we start with the basics. We look at missing teens, and Richland County Sheriff's Department contacted us with a possible description of a young girl who had gone missing. Unfortunately, the description that they were giving to us did not match what we had in front of us. And unfortunately, the description provided of Niyah Baker was so different, in fact, that even the pictures that they sent of her just did not seem to match up. Due to severe trauma to her head, face, and body, visual identification just was not possible. And so we had to turn to science. We contacted Sheriff Leon Lott and asked him to please run DNA from dirty clothing found at the foster home that her foster mom brought to us. We used that clothing to extract DNA, and they were able to run that. We also simultaneously obtained dental records so that we could match the dentals from her last appointment. We were able to confirm that the young girl found in the burning house on Cardamom Court was that of missing teen Niyah Baker. The manner of death is not an accident, and this is not a suicide. This is a horrible homicide. Her cause of death is blunt force trauma.
So to have Niyah found like this is tragic enough. But the story becomes so much more disturbing because on January 18th, police arrested 2 teenage girls aged 15 and 16 in connection with Niyah's death. And apologies to who I may offend, but by definition, these 2 girls are crash outs. And I really don't want to get into the habit of tossing out labels to minors on this channel, but this is not childlike behavior, and I genuinely don't think you can rehabilitate a child like this. This is heinous, and I have to call it like I see it.
Let me talk about our 2 suspects. Overnight, we've arrested 2 people. Our first suspect is a 16-year-old female. Her last known address was in Columbia. She was reported missing by her mom on January 12th. She has a history of disorderly conduct, malicious injury, throwing bodily fluids. She was wanted by the Department of Juvenile Justice for cutting off her ankle monitor around January 12th. She was last enrolled in a local high school in January of 2024, and she's currently listed as dropped out, and she is a frequent runaway. Our second suspect is a 15-year-old female. Her last known address is also in Columbia. She also was enrolled in a local high school as of last December. She is currently listed as dropped out, and she also is a frequent runaway.
In reviewing this case, I have so many thoughts and I really just don't know where to begin. A lot of things stick out to me here, and if Kanaya was staying in foster care, why was she a habitual runaway? Was something going on at the home? And was there ever any intervention from Child Protective Services? And when she ran away, who was she staying with? Where was she staying? And did she know these two teenage girls? Because from a developmental standpoint, there is a huge difference between 13 and 15 and 13 and 16. And we all know that those 2 to 3 years make a huge difference. I mean, we're talking about middle school versus the second to third year in high school. So this is where we wrap. Kanaya's case is ongoing, and we are at the very beginning of the path to justice. I'm sure more details will be released in the coming weeks, and something that I would like to know at some point is whether or not Kanaya was pregnant. The reason I ask this question is because there have been rumors online that the coroner, Niyah Rutherford, addressed at the press conference. And speaking of Miss Rutherford, I think I butchered her first name, so apologies. I really like her as a coroner. She has managed Kanaya's case with a tremendous amount of care. I truly appreciate how she's willing to address the content she sees online in the mainstream media to set the record straight. And given the world we live in, I think you have to do that. And speaking of the mainstream media, these guys just never turn down an opportunity to show their behinds, okay? In the Q&A with the sheriff, one of the reporters wanted to know Kanaya's criminal history. That has damn to do with damn, and I really appreciate the sheriff for checking that reporter. So as I close, my condolences go out to Kanaya's friends and family, and my gratitude to the authorities in Columbia, South Carolina. If you're enjoying the coverage I'm bringing to you, please take a moment to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one.